We have our celebrity wrestling brackets brought to you by Cactus Wrestling. So this is the North region. If you have been following the celebrity wrestling bracket series, you may have already seen the previous region. What was that? The West region? South?
That was the West region, yeah.
Yeah, the West region, which was all of our political correspondence. Now we go on to actors. This category is actors who have wrestled or are affiliated with wrestling in some way or another. And we're just going to have some fun with this and go through the bracket and see who will come out on top. So let's start at the very top. Number 1 seed, Kirk Douglas, Spartacus versus number 16, Paul Giamatti, who I don't think he actually ever wrestled, but if you ever saw the movie Win-Win, he played the coach.
He definitively never actually wrestled, but he did play the coach in Win-Win. Whereas Kirk, he was undefeated as a senior in high school and wrestled at St. Lawrence University. So he got up into some college business. So yeah, I mean, Paul Giamatti did have a phenomenal role in Win-Win as that coach, but
yeah, but I don't think he ever has played an athletic role.
He doesn't really come off as an athletic type of person.
He was like John Adams. You should have put him in the other category. He was John Adams in that John Adams show.
Yeah, that's true. He was John Adams,
and he was the villain in Big Fat Liar.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he was blue in that. He was basically a Smurf. I think this is. There's no way there could be an upset here. I don't think Paul Giamatti would stand a chance.
I think the most athletic role he had was when he was in Saving Private Ryan. I'm going through like his IMDb, and I'm like,
I don't even think him then.
Yeah, I think that.
It's hard to beat Spartacus.
I'm putting him at a tech.
Wasn't Kirk Douglas too like undefeated as a high school wrestler or as a
senior? Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty tough to beat someone who hasn't lost yet, as in his most recent year of wrestling.
And he wrestled in college, so and then Paul Giamatti, he just acted as a wrestling coach.
Yeah, so. I think we spent too much time on this one.
All right, moving on. 16-0, Kirk Douglas for the win.
All right, so this one's interesting. Robin Williams, R.I.P., versus Kevin James. Now, before you get on the Kevin James, like, oh, yeah, he's just like the fat guy in King of Queens. If you actually look at a picture of him in high school, the dude was thick.
Yeah, he was pretty ripped. I mean, he was I'm pretty sure a star football player too.
Yeah.
And a fun fact, he joined the wrestling team to be Mick Foley's wrestling partner. Yeah, Mick Foley with the pro wrestling. So, but then you got Robin Williams, who wrestled in high school in Illinois.
Some respect for Illinois, a great Fargo state.
Illinois is definitely on the rise. So I think Robin Williams gets props there. Plus, he's got that like physical acting ability.
Well, also, I feel like Robin Williams' forearms were like huge.
Yeah, but Kevin James, I think, has big forearms too.
Kevin James also played a role where he was like an MMA fighter, which does have wrestling.
That's true.
Boss Rudin was his coach in that.
Yeah, here comes the boom.
I think for that alone,
that was his walkout song. Here comes the.
I think for that alone, I got to go Kevin James.
I have a soft spot for Kevin James. I worked security for him once.
I was gonna say Robin Williams, but it seems like this is going a different way. So, are we saying this is a close match?
Yeah, very close. 8-6.
I was gonna say like 8-6, 8-4.
Right. Robin Williams gets defeated,
and Kevin James is a Mets fan. You gotta love that.
And Kevin James is a Mets fan.
Tom Cruise, number 5 seed, versus Steve Buscemi. These are some scrappers. These both guys are small.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Steve Buscemi, he was eating pizza in prison in that one movie, Mr. Deeds, with one eye. But Tom Cruise, he's great at running. But On a more realistic
Nothing
note,
else.
Steve Buscemi, he wrestled in high school in New York. And Tom Cruise, he wrestled in high school in New Jersey.
The fact that he does his own stunts, I think that's
Yeah.
a huge plus.
Yeah. Steve Buscemi was a firefighter. And
Yes, he was a 9/11 first responder.
Yeah, 9/11 first responder. He went back to his station and helped out. So props to him there. He's not afraid to get in the thick of it.
Do you guys remember Spy Kids 2, where Steve Buscemi is like the mad scientist?
Yeah.
And he has the crazy quote. It says, it was like, do you think God stays in heaven because he too is afraid of what he created? And it's like, dude, this is Spy Kids 2. Like, let's calm it down a notch.
Now that you say it, yeah, I can actually hear it and almost visualize it. But
I think Tom Cruise doing his own stunts is pretty important, though. I mean, this is a guy that's like, I guess, super athletic in that sense. But then Steve Buscemi, as a 9/11 first responder, while being an actor, that's already made it, is, you know, crazy.
I mean, he's the scrappiest of scrappy.
Yeah.
How is this a first round? I feel like they got cheated
this is
here.
Quarters at least. This is like a quarters.
Come on.
I don't know what to tell you. So the
luck of the draw for the bracket.
Buscemi at 12? Give him some more respect. You got to blow John Belushi?
John Belushi's got the Illinois bias.
No, John. Oh wait, yeah, okay,
yeah.
All right,
I don't know. I think I'm gonna go with Tom Cruise just because he does his own stunts.
I'm leaning Steve Buscemi because he just seems like the scrappiest.
I was gonna say Buscemi because I think of Reservoir Dogs, and he's like, I don't tip, and that scene just stands out to me, and I'm like, yeah, this guy doesn't take anything and he doesn't give anything.
Yeah. Okay, right. So Steve Buscemi, he's winning by a narrow margin, 5-4.
I was like 5-3, 5-4.
For as crazy as Steve Buscemi's characters are, especially the guy in Fargo, I feel like for as crazy as his characters are, Tom Cruise is that crazy
in real life.
Like, there's those stories of him just like screaming at people on set, just like, you have to wear your mask during COVID.
Tom Cruise also like so many good like Family Guy skits where he's like, you know, 5'4" or something in real life, and then they have him like as like an actual toddler walking around, and he's just insane, and he's a Scientologist and all this other crazy stuff that they love to poke fun at.
Right. Well, Steve Buscemi scraps it out, 5-4 win.
One more point for Steve Buscemi was that he was in the movie Fargo, and we all know Fargo Nationals.
Yep.
You know, even though they're not related, they're related.
Yeah, although they're not related, they are related.
All right, this is another brutal first-round matchup.
Well, actually, it's not when we hear their wrestling backgrounds, because Channing Tatum didn't have a wrestling background until the movie Foxcatcher. He never actually wrestled until Foxcatcher, and then he trained, and so he had zero wrestling experience. Whereas Mark Ruffalo, he wrestled through high school in Virginia and Wisconsin, and apparently was good enough for a scholarship in college, but instead decided he wanted to pursue acting, so he ended his wrestling career.
How was he a 4 seed?
He, yes.
Yeah, who made these seeds? I feel like Mark Ruffalo has that like freakish man strength that like you don't see any muscles on him, but he's just like freakishly strong.
Yeah,
like an old man.
Like that old man strength. Whereas Channing Tatum has like the abs on his abs.
I mean, I think he did a great job in Foxcatcher portraying Dave Schultz.
Yeah, that was
so
Dave Schultz going a little crazy, and then you're like, yeah, that's Dave Schultz. Where he's putting on 12 pounds and has to cut it all last second to win Worlds again.
No, wait, wasn't that Mark Schultz?
Dave Schultz was the brother that was yes.
Yeah.
That was Mark.
Yeah. That's Channing you're talking about then.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think just from his wrestling background, although Channing Tatum obviously has probably a more
physical.
Okay, physique. Confirmed. Channing Tatum was Mark Schultz, and Mark Ruffalo was Dave Schultz.
Yes. Yeah.
Wait, Mark Ruffalo was in that movie?
Yeah, Mark Ruffalo.
He was Dave Schultz.
Was Dave
I didn't
Schultz.
recognize him at all. Seriously?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like, they were both in Foxcatcher.
I
They
must have
played the
missed.
brothers.
I think you were confused because Mark Schultz and then Mark Ruffalo.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But Channing is Mark
Channing
Schultz.
plays Mark Schultz. Mark Ruffalo plays Dave Schultz. And I mean, he did a great job there. I mean,
He looks
Channing did a
so
great
much
job
like I
portraying
couldn't.
Mark.
I had no idea that was him. I feel like I had seen Mark Ruffalo for years, and I was like,
I mean, he's the Incredible Hulk now.
I mean, I just can't believe that he is.
Well, our dad,
Wow.
who actually met Dave Schultz, said that Mark Ruffalo's portrayal of Dave Schultz was like spot on, identical. It was like eerily like how well he captured him. So
I think I would give this to Mark Ruffalo winning this, especially since he was apparently good enough to have a college scholarship for wrestling. Like, I mean, you got to be at least halfway decent in high school to be getting offered a scholarship of any sort. So,
yeah, I would do it. I would do maybe close to a major even.
Dang, no respect for Channing Tatum.
Nope, Channing Tatum gets beat up 9-1.
Gotta love him in the fan favorite She's the Man though with Amanda Bynes. Great movie.
I always forget how old Channing Tatum is by like I always feel like he's always playing such young roles and it's like he's in his 40s or something.
Yeah. Young at heart.
Young at heart.
So next one, number 3 seed Tony Danza going old school here versus Matthew Modine. Yeah, Matthew Modine pretty much known for his role in the classic Vision Quest.
That is where he came into play, and I'm pretty sure that was his only wrestling experience. But I mean, he became an icon nonetheless. Tony Danza was wrestled on a full scholarship to the University of Dubuque.
I actually hate Vision Quest.
It's a hot take there.
Brutal.
Yeah, it is. It's I mean, you have a guy, you have Loudon Swain that's going to cut down to beat Shoot, who hasn't lost a match in 3 years in high school. 3 years, he's undefeated. And then suddenly this guy who was like JV after cutting 30 pounds is like, oh yeah, I'm good enough now. They top it off, it's a duel. Who cares? It's not like it's like, oh yeah, like I won states. It's like, dude, like you won a duel. And then if you watch it, like the scoring makes no sense. Like the positions make no sense. Like
they do a lot of feet to back and
and then it's like, dude, how
reversals
are you,
and it's all over the
in the
place.
state where you're constantly getting lat dropped?
Well, I mean, then again, if you watch some matches back
oh my gosh, like, what was that?
Ed Bannock on Mark Schultz, actually. Speaking of Mark Schultz, those two national finals, and they're throwing each other to their backs left and right. The final score, I think, was like 13-11, or it was something bananas. And that was the national final. I mean, that was just how they wrestled. That was like throws and positioning. I mean, it's amazing that they didn't
the whole
each other in that match.
Everything about it's like, hey, like you've been doing terrible because you did the pegboard. I'll allow you to continue this weight cut. Like none of it, like there's nothing that stands up and like that's a wrestling thing. It's like, dude, you made this huge life-altering choice to win a duel where honestly you're probably not going to win in the States because you're going to be gassed from cutting all day, wrestling 5 matches, and when you see him in the finals, you're tired as heck.
Yeah, but he pins Shoot. Spoiler alert.
You know why? Because it was a Vision Quest.
I think
the guy's name's Shoot.
I think similarly to our other one with the nosebleeds, I think this would disqualify Matthew Modine. Too much weight cutting.
Well, also not only that, Tony Danza wrestled in college.
Yeah.
Matthew Modine wrestled in Vision Quest.
College Vision. I mean, come on, college Vision Quest. It's like the same thing.
I know we haven't exactly officially voted, but I'm thinking it's Tony Danza like 15-2 or something.
Yeah, 15-2.
Tony Danza with the tech because he's the boss.
Oh, okay, tech.
I'm saying tech.
I'll make it 17-2.
I got that reference because he's the boss.
Thank you.
Yeah, it just hit.
To get that.
I didn't hear it.
Took a minute.
He's from a show, Tony Danza. He's the boss.
Yeah. Who's the boss?
Now we got Stephen Baldwin, wrestled in high school in New York, and Chris Pratt. He was 5th in the state, in Washington State.
I love Chris Pratt. He's one of my favorite actors because he's so active in wrestling, even to this day.
Yeah. Chris Pratt is a huge proponent for the sport.
I didn't even know Stephen. I knew Billy Baldwin wrestled. I didn't even know Stephen
They're
Baldwin
brothers.
wrestled.
It's not that big of a stretch to
Did
think.
Alec wrestle?
I doubt it. I doubt Alec wrestled.
I honestly don't know any of the Baldwin family. Like, I only know Alec because he shot the girl.
Oh,
yeah.
Like, that was like I don't follow them in any of their movies. There's like 4 or 5 brothers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Alec's probably the most famous.
Yeah, Stephen, Billy, Alec, and Daniel.
But is Alec the oldest, or is he just the most famous?
I think he's just the most famous.
He's either oldest or second oldest, I think.
Yeah, I don't really have a vote for this one, I guess. I only know Chris Pratt. In this one, I don't know Stephen Baldwin, so I guess.
Well, you know that he wrestled in high school in New York.
I do know that.
And that Chris Pratt took 5th in the state in Washington.
Yeah, that's my vote's for Chris Pratt.
I think
Pratt
based on the wrestling background, it's got to be Chris Pratt. He's probably.
But I feel like Chris Pratt is he would win by like a high score. He'd be like the guy who
like
should dominate, but like he gets sloppy and gives up, 5 unnecessary points every year
like a 12-5 match, 13-5 match.
Yeah, something like that.
I got 14-5.
Hey, there we go. That's perfect.
All right, moving on.
Ashton Kutcher versus John Belushi. Love to see Ashton Kutcher from Iowa, and he and Mila went to an Iowa wrestling duel pretty recently. I don't know if it was last year, 2 years ago, but
I mean, from what I hear, there's nothing like going to a duel at Iowa.
Well, it sells out every time. 16,000 people, and they're all crazy.
Yeah,
they are insane people.
It's got to be quite the experience.
I said I love hearing like people go on like wrestling podcasts. It's like, oh, we got Vincenzo Joseph here. It's like, what was it like wrestling at Carver? He's like, they were throwing rocks at me in the hallway. Like, it's insane stories. Like, just things you're like, what? Like, that's obviously that's not a real story. I mean, it could be, but that's not one that I heard. But like, it's insane. They're like, yeah, these people like go insane. They're like, we'll get you.
They're just passionate. All right.
Yeah, they're.
Yes. Well, and then there's John Belushi. He wrestled in high school in Illinois. Ashton Kutcher wrestled in high school in Iowa. So no surprise that he's going to an Iowa match. Probably a big Iowa fan.
In Iowa, we wrestle.
So
I'm favored for Ashton. I think Iowa. He's tall too. He's got that length. He was a model, so he's probably used to cutting weight. He knows. John Belushi, I mean, he's like Chris Farley. He's like known as being like the big funny fat guy.
To be fair, I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. For those that have seen that '70s show, Ashton Kutcher's character was constantly losing fights to his friends.
Ooh.
Yeah, constantly. Like, it was like his one of the running gags is how much he got beat up by Hyde from the cast, Danny Masterson, or one of the other, or Steve. I don't know the first name, but Masterson I think is the last name. So, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe Ashton Kutcher is like the guy that was ranked number 1 because he had an easy schedule, and then he gets to the tournament and he just gets like majored.
Thanks it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know tons of guys like that from Connecticut that had that whole team. If you guys might remember from Double L's, that was always like, how are they the 1 seed? And then they just would all lose, and it's like, that sucks for them.
That's why, because they're bad.
Maybe Belushi does like a headlock and pins him, even though Kutcher was mentioning it.
Oh, so we're saying Belushi for the win?
Belushi with a fat boy roll.
Yeah.
Okay.
You convinced me.
I guess we're gonna say 5-1.
I can see a 5-point move.
All right, last one of round 1. Frank Jasper, who played. We're not done with Vision Quest. Who was Brian Shute, which I'm looking at this picture of him now. My God, this guy was gigantic.
Yeah, he was a monster.
Right there. It's like Loudon Swain cuts all this weight, is still smaller.
Yeah, he's still smaller than Shute. Yeah. Significantly smaller.
Like, imagine being like, oh yeah, I cut 30 pounds, and you're like, what the heck? How is this guy larger, more muscular than me?
Yeah, there's no way.
He's shoot.
Yeah.
There's no way. It doesn't make any sense. Billy Baldwin, we've met Billy Baldwin because he's a big advocate for Binghamton wrestling. And I actually was a recipient of the Billy Baldwin Scholarship. So thank you, Billy.
Oh.
And he's married to one of the women from Wilson Phillips. I forget which one.
Well, he also wrestled in high school in New York and then Binghamton University. I think before they became D1, I think he wrestled D3 there.
I mean, I want to put Billy because the personal connection, but
you're too close to the case.
I'm too close to the case, but everything I know about it says that Billy would not win this.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm a little more inclined to put Billy in the one sense that Frank Jasper only ever wrestled in Vision Quest.
Yeah, but
it's not like he had a wrestling background other than that.
He was shoot.
Okay. Yeah, he was shoot.
Yeah, but shoot didn't even win the duel.
Yeah, but you ask anyone, do you want to be a Loudon Swain or do you want to be a Brian Shoot? You want to be a Brian Shoot.
Yeah, they're going to say, what century is this? I don't follow those movies.
It's like, who are they?
It's like Karate Kid. Do you want to be a Daniel LaRusso or do you want to be a, what's his name? Johnny Lawrence.
I also think his name's Billy.
No, Johnny Lawrence.
Oh, Johnny, not Billy.
Oh, Johnny, yeah. Sweep the leg.
Lawrence,
yeah. I'm going with Shoot, but I'll leave it to you guys.
I'm going Billy B. I mean, I remember he was a commentator in like one NCAAs, and I was like, I don't know who this guy is, but now hearing his name for the second time, I'm like, he must be good.
Well, I mean, I heard mixed reviews.
Still, college experience, I don't know.
Geez, this is a tough call. I mean, the guy had college experience versus no college experience. It's
versus no experience at all.
But yeah, no, he has Vision Quest experience. Losing at that. I gotta go Billy. All
right, Billy it is.
I gotta go Billy. Guy made it to college. And wrestled. I can't say he lost to a guy that's wrestled in a movie.
Jeez, I'm on the same point with Jack. Like, look at how large Frank Jasper is in this movie.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Flow Wrestling interviewed him in 2022. This dude hasn't acted or anything else since then. This is like his only thing he's ever done. And they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna get him on Flow.
Yes.
Oh man,
Jasper.
He was robbed with the 15 seed there. All right, yeah. Kirk Douglas.
He had the 14 instead of Loudon, but
Kirk Douglas versus Kevin James, and unpopular opinion right here. I'm going Kevin James on this.
Interesting, Kevin James, who joined wrestling just to be Mick Foley's practice partner.
That's commitment. You can't find that most times.
Upset Kirk Douglas, undefeated as a senior, wrestling at St. Lawrence U.
Yeah, but the whole point of this is what could have been if they
That's true.
If they had dedicated their craft, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Kevin James, some might say, is more prolific than Kirk Douglas. Very different actors, but
yeah,
there's a large population out there that say I like Kevin James more than Kirk Douglas.
Yeah, I think a lot of people just don't know who Kirk Douglas is. I mean,
here comes the boom.
Well, in our generation,
here comes the boom. Okay,
I go Kevin James.
He kicks the guy with the green mohawk and knocks him out.
He's the king of queens.
He is. He's also Adam Sandler's funny fat friend.
Yeah.
Not fat. Thick.
Wait, he wrestled in college in 1939?
Kirk? Yeah, I think so.
I mean, not to diss anybody from 1939 that might be watching this, but like the sport's evolved a little bit.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
I mean, like, I feel like I could have been a world champion in 1939.
Well, it seems like we are going on the Kevin James upset train.
Oh, yeah. Let's go.
He's getting this 9-6 win here over Kirk, knocking off the 1 seed.
Boom. Steve Buscemi versus Mark Ruffalo.
I mean, you got the scrappy, and then you got the, I guess, rough and tumble.
Yeah, but
The
being
Incredible Hulk.
scrappy can only get you so far.
Yeah.
I think Mark Ruffalo's a little too
He is the Hulk.
seasoned.
He also, I mean, playing Dave Schultz has to give him some extra points as well.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. I mean, yeah, and he did it phenomenally too. Like
he was good.
I didn't even realize it. I didn't even realize it was him until you guys just said it. I saw the movie in theaters.
That's how good a job he did. You thought it was actually Dave.
What's crazy is like they had actual like Mark Schultz on as like a film consultant, like
yeah.
And he was like,
Gene Mills was in it as a ref. They had, I think, Reese Humphrey and
Screwy Louie, right?
Yeah, Screwy Louie Lazari. I think Zach Ray. There was a few other guys that were in it as like background guys.
Mark Schultz said Steve Carell played such a good DuPont that he was like visibly like angry watching him.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a credit.
Yeah, why didn't you put Steve Carell in here, Mike?
DuPont?
he did win that tournament in the movie.
No.
More than Paul Giamatti, I guess.
No.
I say Mark Ruffalo, and it's not close.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Ruffalo, and it's not very close. Like I'm saying a major.
Yeah, 14-2.
14-2. Wow, I was leaning towards Buscemi initially, but
I think Buscemi will wrestle back well.
He'll wrestle back well.
All right, Tony Danza and Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
Chris Pratt, 5th at Washington State. Tony Danza, University of Dubuque, full scholarship. That's pretty good.
That is pretty good. But that's not 5th in Washington State.
I mean, that could be a whole other bracket. Another bracket how Tony Danza would have done in Washington States.
Yeah, how would Tony Danza done in Washington States?
I mean, if you see the physical transformation Chris Pratt went from being Andy from Parks and Rec to Star-Lord, classic world's action movie star. I mean, it's incredible.
That's true.
I was just thinking about that the other day.
I mean, there's a picture of him as a wrestler, like in a singlet. And he's kind of like flexing or something. He looks like a lot younger version of himself, obviously, but like more muscular. Like, he wasn't like Andy Dwyer-esque back in high school. So
yeah, I can see that. He has kind of like a Kevin James about him.
Oh, so well, we thinking Chris Pratt is upsetting Tony Danza here?
I mean, I like Chris Pratt.
I'm gonna go with Chris Pratt. I also love like how they explained, if you guys are a big Parks and Rec fan, how they explain like the dramatic weight loss of Wendy.
Oh,
and they're like walking up the steps in England. He goes, "Oh," I was like, "So what'd you do?" He goes, "I just stopped drinking beer." And then Ben is like, "Yeah," he goes, "Were you drinking a lot?" And Andy's just like, "Oh yeah."
Oh yeah. So we've been on the trajectory of picking these bigger guys. Belushi here against Billy Baldwin.
Honestly, if Belushi was throwing a headlock to knock off Ashton Kutcher, I think he could do it to Billy.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. I feel like I wanted shoot here to begin with. I think Belushi beats Billy.
Yeah, I think Belushi beats Billy.
I mean,
I'm going to say in a crazy 10-8 match.
Wow, 10-9. 10-8.
10-8.
Okay, we have a semifinals. Kevin James versus Mark Ruffalo.
So we got the boom and we got the Dave Schultz effect.
I mean, it's tough.
I feel like Kevin James' improbable run has ended.
See, I was of the theory that this Cinderella story could just keep on going to the finals.
Has there been an 8 seed to make the finals of the NCAAs before? I feel like there has.
Yes. There's been unseeded guys make the finals, I think.
Yeah, Zeke Moisey from West Virginia.
Yeah. He was unseeded when he made it.
Well, they didn't do.
Well,
that was when they did top
8 seed. 16. Shane Griffith won it as the 8 seed.
That's who I was thinking of, probably.
Yeah.
So I guess that Kevin James then could advance.
I'm actually more in Mark Ruffalo's corner. just because he actually has more wrestling experience, and he also was Dave Schultz. Whereas Kevin James literally wrestled to be a backup partner for some.
Yeah, but he was he was an athlete, he was an MMA fighter in his 40s.
Oh yeah, well that's true. I mean, but Mark Ruffalo's the Incredible Hulk in his what 50s?
Yeah, I mean, my heart says Kevin
Have
James.
you seen Kevin James as a high school wrestler?
No, that's what I'm saying. He's
Yeah.
He's
rich.
jacked.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I don't know how well you guys will be able to see this, but like,
Yeah, no, he's Studley.
he's like he's big.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Mark is not. If you find a picture of Mark, he's not quite as he doesn't have the shoot effect.
He didn't peak until later, and that's okay.
that is okay.
Yeah. I mean, I guess my head is going with Mark Ruffalo, even though my heart's going Kevin James.
I can agree with that.
So what? We having a real barn burner 1-point match here
Yeah.
in favor of Mark.
Marky
Mark.
Not Marky Mark.
Yeah, no, not Marky Mark.
Chris Pratt versus John Belushi.
Is John Belushi throwing another headlock?
I mean, I feel like this division, the North region, is pretty weak in general. I feel like when we were doing the political, it was like Abraham Lincoln, one career loss.
Yes. Most of these, this region, they wrestled in high school, so that's their strongest.
Yeah. If this was me, I would have Brian shoot here.
What, going to the finals?
Frank Jasper in the finals, yeah.
Frank Jasper in the finals.
Like we said that Kevin James was ripped. Like, just look at.
Oh yeah, no. Frank Jasper was.
I can't get over that.
Was definitely.
Frank Jasper. I'd love to know if he was on any performance enhancing.
Yeah, I was just thinking that
right?
maybe they're the show muscles, and he was actually like not actually that strong.
He looked it. He looked it for sure.
I mean, I don't know if either of these guys were all that great of wrestlers in their heyday.
5th in the state for Chris Pratt.
Frank Jasper's whole persona is Vision Quest. His Instagram is Vision Quest _shoot 1985.
What are we gonna have to retroactively go back and
no.
shoot into the
I just
70s?
can't believe
what's been done is done. I would have Chris Pratt win this.
I would also have Chris Pratt win this.
It's only fair to have Marvel versus Marvel in the finals. So which superhero, the Incredible Hulk or Star-Lord?
Hulk smash.
Yeah, I think Mark Ruffalo's got this.
Yeah, I mean he's got some college experience.
So yeah, well, now no, he doesn't have college experience. He has Foxcatcher experience. He got a full scholarship to go to college to wrestle.
But turned it down.
To act.
Yeah, he turned it down.
Yes,
which was probably the right move.
I mean, yeah, I think
dude's probably like $100 million net worth.
Yeah. So if Shoot had made it to the finals, you picking Shoot over Ruffalo?
No, because he lost to Loudon Swain. He would make it to the finals and then lose to Mark Ruffalo.
Okay. I mean, that's a epic arc there.
I actually think Frank Jasper, actually had a wrestling background. I'm reading a little bit about it now.
Did he?
He might have.
Find anything.
You know, when you're training with logs on bleachers, I mean, how old was he when he was cast in that role?
15.
There's no. Just wait.
Okay. So Frank Jasper actually did wrestle. He started to wrestle. He was a 115-pound freshman.
Wow.
Oh shoot. Okay. I couldn't find anything on him.
I'm on his LinkedIn account reading it.
Well then.
Frank Jasper is going to get a notification saying Mike Long viewed your profile.
Yeah.
So here's what it is. Frank Jasper began wrestling his freshman year at high school, a scrawny 115-pounder. Lifting weights and tennis would become primary passions. I would have never guessed that. His racket skill. So he earned an athletic scholarship to Northern Idaho for tennis, and then he lasted a quarter.
Oh, so he wasn't really much of a
all right. When I heard he had a wrestling background, I was like, all right, I reversed my decision. He should have won. But hearing he gave up wrestling for tennis,
and then quit
Billy.
tennis.
I stand by Billy for the win.
Yeah, I think Mark Ruffalo 8-3 seems about right.
Yeah, Mark Ruffalo for the win.
So there you have it. That is the North region. Our actors. Drop a comment down below. Where did we get it right? Where did we get it wrong? Where do you stand on Brian Shute versus Loudon Swain? I mean, I think we're just gonna have to do a separate Vision Quest video altogether.
Separate what?
Vision Quest video altogether.
Yeah, right.
But I think, what do you think between Mark Ruffalo and Chris Pratt in the finals? Who would you have picking to win?
Should Shute have made the finals? Did we make a mistake?
Shoot!
Drop it down the comments below and make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you want to see more content from Cactus Wrestling.
Thanks for watching. We are Cactus Wrestling, and we'll see you next time on our next video.